think, well, hold on a second. I was trying to see if I could put it, I can get a full transcription of this for let me go. Well, my computer's running slow this morning. Sometimes it does that with, like with Zoom. I don't understand why sometimes it does that, but it does it sometimes. And there's nothing I can do about it. All right, so let's go to um, this. Having a click fest this morning. Having a click fest. All right, here we go. Now drop in the chat if you've ever had any issues with Facebook compliance. I'm curious. Has anybody had issues with Facebook compliance? Your ad account has been disabled, or you have had ads rejected, or things like that. Let's see. I know my audio is working okay. Currently suspended, yes, no. Looks like 50-50. So here's the thing with speaker view. There we go, making sure this looks good. So everybody has at some moment and some time on Facebook where they are going to have an issue with Facebook, because Facebook, there's so many people on Facebook, and there are thousands of people every day trying to run ads. So there's that side. I mean, there's two Facebooks. I don't know if you guys know. Well, there's Meta, the parent company, and then there's Instagram and Facebook, but there's actually like two and a half Facebooks, because it actually bridges over to Instagram, where the Facebook Ads Manager is in the Meta suite are its own entity. And so you have multiple hoops for dealing with security on Facebook. Now, the thing that happens is that Facebook doesn't always understand that you're real. And we have issues of, passing security checks through the personal profile, but also the ads manager, because you're giving Facebook money. And Facebook is thinking, okay, is this person legitimate? Are they, a scammer? There's VPNs that mask, where people are from, and they appear to be in the US, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? There are people that have these fake cards, or they steal cards. There are people that hack accounts. So every day, in talking with Facebook's staff, Facebook said you cannot imagine the amount of security and hackers that we deal with. So, remember knowing that, and then knowing that Facebook is trying to handle that, but the way they do it is through bots. The bots are trying to keep a lid on everything. And it does the best job. And I will tell you, it is better than it was because I've been caught in some, security checks myself over the years that were completely like just them doing a random security check. So I think that, they're doing a pretty decent job considering what's going on. Because a lot of times we work with, my private clients that, they come to us to get their accounts fixed. It's not something that I can often just say like, oh, click these three buttons and fix it. There is a huge process that can go with fixing accounts and re-warming up new accounts and things like that. And sometimes we can get accounts back. A lot of times we can't. I'd say probably 20% of the time we got to start from scratch. And then the rest of the time we got to go through the hoops to figure things out with whatever's going on with the account. There's, like I said, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of ID, requests, and that is totally normal. Like you should expect it. At some point, either right after your ads go live or right after your um, ads have been running a little while, you're going to get security checks. So just be prepared to submit your driver's license and do a security check. Hands down, easy thing, to do. The other thing is that Facebook um, also has the Meta Verified program. And I highly recommend if your um, life depends on Facebook, like mine does, that you get Meta Verified. And what I mean, when you look at Meta Verified people, they've got the little blue check mark next to their name. You'll see the person's name and they've got the little check mark, and you can search on the internet, meta verified, and you can meta verify your pages. You can verify your, oh, why is this being so weird? You can meta verify your pages. Maybe I'll share my page here. I'm navigating. Here's you just search, meta verified. And so this one's meta verified for business. There's meta verified for your personal. You can do your Instagram, so there's multiple layers of meta verified that you could do, but the most important one is your profile. Because this is again the business one. It gives you another layer of being able to contact support. I've not really seen a um a lot of, need for the business one, but the personal one, 100%. It's like $12 a month or something like that. Let's see, Meta verified. Just make sure it's a real Meta account. Yeah, that one is a fake one. That should be Facebook getting down on that. On your personal profiles, you will find the it's under password and security. That's how you get it on your personal profile. So you just go through and password and security, and then you go into passwords, and then you'll find where it says Meta Verified. So that's another way that we're actually more and more of our clients, we're looking to, you know, have them do Meta Verified because it kind of fixes the whole security identity issue. And we find that it is extremely helpful. People don't, if they get into trouble, their accounts are having a problem, they can message with support and they have that extension. So to pay $12 or whatever, $13 a month or something like that, to have that support for people that their life depends on Facebook, I think is 100% valid, to be able to do that. But I'm not gonna, I mean, my whole thing with this was not to be specifically talking about doing Meta Verified, but I will tell you that I work with a lot of people who are um, a high level ad buyers, and I was telling them because we talk about these things, and I said, this is what I do with my clients. And they said, that's a really, really good idea. And I said, maybe when you start working with your clients, automatically have them everybody just gets the verified. And I think it's helped so many of our clients to be able to do that. Just go straight up and go meta verified. I will tell you. Actually, I've got the direct link in here. I forgot I had this. This is my course that I have. Um, and this is the ad policy course. This is something that I believe everybody should do as well. This ad policy course I also require my clients to do before we run ads. I'm going to drop this in the chat because I believe firmly that Facebook knows everything that you've done. And I work a lot with network marketers. And so let me pause that a second. Shut that off. I work a lot with network marketers, which are one of the most scrutinized individual groups running ads on Facebook. And we don't have problems with compliance. Like we don't. Some of my former clients are here, current clients are here, and they know we don't have problems with compliance. And we're very careful on the words we say. We warm up the account in a very specific way. I also have them do that ad course that I just dropped in the chat for you. And what that does is it tells Facebook that you're serious, you're legitimate, and that you've gone through and learned what they want. And I am a firm believer that there's a little gold star next to your name on Facebook as you have more and more things that are compliant. Okay, this person, they set up the business manager, gold star. Oh, they did the ad policy, gold star. They got meta verified, gold star. And the more stars you have, the more bulletproof your account is. When we start working with somebody that has a new account, we always set it up in the business manager. I do not like people running business ads through their personal profiles. We want to run through the business manager because it puts a separation between your personal account and Facebook's business manager, because you should be running things through the business manager. So the first thing we do is we go into business manager, we set it up, and we start running likes ads for a couple weeks, and we do 1 or 2 engagement ads. Those are warming up as we prepare to do the actual lead generation and lead harvesting types of ads. And this process, what it does is it really tells Facebook that, you're doing things the right way. And when we do it this way, we don't have problems, because every ad that you have approved through Facebook is another gold star. Remember, for us mature folks, when you were a kid and you were in grammar school and they gave you those little foil stars, right? Remember those little foil stars, and you'd put them, it'd be on your front of your desk or on your papers. That's kind of what I envision is happening on Facebook. Okay, so we get these little stars, and then the more stars we have, the more bulletproof your account is. I truly believe that. It runs on a merit system. My account has been running for 15 years on our forehead, right? Like right here. My account's been running for 15 years. I've been running ads since ads pretty much were able to be run on Facebook. And I can honestly say that I don't even think I go through the approval process anymore. Like my ads they're like, we don't need to worry about her at all. And my ads go live and they don't even get, like, they just are immediately live, even new copy. I don't get anything that's reviewed. I do nothing. Like I say words that most people can't, but I've spent millions of dollars on ads, and I've been running ads for 15 years. I've been compliant with Facebook. I've met with Facebook, things like that. So they know, I'm sure I know what I talk when I work with, like I said, some other individuals who are big media buyers, and I talked to them about this. And last week I was talking to one of them and I said, I firmly believe that when they want to set up a call with you, has anybody had that where you go into the Facebook Ads Manager and then they'll ask you, like, set up a call with us? I will tell you, don't do anything they tell you to do because it's not. Here's the thing. The people that work for Facebook are lovely. All right. The people that are those quote ad specialists, they're lovely people. However, most of them are reading from a script. They took a little course at Facebook and they are now an ads expert. They have never spent any of their own money. And very often they worked at Chick-fil-A a few weeks ago. One gal I talked to who I absolutely adored, she was just a lovely girl. She I think she told me, oh, she was selling travel a few weeks before she talked to me, and she was trying to advise me how to spend my money on my $1 million business. So what I'm telling you with this is if you get that little pop-up, which I should open this up and see if I get one this morning because they've been trying to get me on the phone again. If they do, you can humor them and see if I get it this morning. They've been trying to do it lately, and it did. Of course, it's not going to pop up. If I was showing you how to do something in the Ads Manager, it would probably pop up today. If it pops up like on your screen, and be very careful. I've talked about, I think in some of the other trainings about getting hacked. That's a big problem on Facebook, or the getting hacked and the notifications. Facebook will never send you a DM through your page or your profile about any restrictions or ad account problems. Never. So they will never send you a message. They will also never post on your page and say that your page is non-compliant. Facebook's got a notification center and it's a business support home inside of the Ads Manager. Any compliance issues with your account will be found there. They may send you an email, but you need to be very careful to make sure that is a true meta email. And sometimes they change all the time. And you'll get these emails like your life is going to end with these, you've violated policies, and you look and it's some weird Gmail address from God knows where. So most of the time, I tell people, look, if you get an email that you think is legitimate, go into business support home and check to see if you do have an ad that's rejected. You'll know, like you'll go in there and you'll see that there's an ad that's rejected, or go look in your ads manager. Don't click through anything until you're really good at deciphering what's like real and not real. But Facebook will never message you through your page or your profile. I will tell you, they will never do that. So what I'm saying is sometimes when you're in the ads manager, you'll get a message, like it'll pop up and say, meet with one of our ad specialists who worked at Chick-fil-A a few weeks ago. And here's the thing, if you meet with them, just know they have one agenda, and that's to get you to spend more money. They have a lot of ideas of things that work, and some of them are helpful, and 90% of it's not. They're just looking, what they are really after. Facebook's Ads Manager platform is built for e-commerce. And if you are a coach, if you are a mortgage broker, if you are selling a network marketing business opportunity, or whatever it is, if you're not e-commerce, they're giving advice as if you are an e-commerce business, and they're looking to get you the cheapest leads and the most traffic, which may not be what you want, because I don't want the cheapest leads. When my leads are really cheap, I get crappy results. I got crap. It's going to find me the crap of the universe in like the ads. So they're giving advice on getting you cheaper leads and more volume, which may or may not be what you want. Depends on your market. So just take what they say with a grain of salt. But here's my point in telling you this. I firmly believe that when you meet with them and you prove you're a real human being, you get another 20 gold stars. And it's, but again, do not do what they tell you to do. I will tell you this for a fact. Do not tell you, do not. I mean, I have had, I've talked to about, I don't know, a dozen of these ad agents, over the years. And I've had, I think, I've had three really good ones out of a dozen. And what happens if they are good and you're like, wow, this person is awesome. They have done media buying, they know what they're talking about. They're promoted out of that department really fast. Like they don't stay in the customer support, aka ad expert. They're not in that job very long because they're awesome and they move them out into another position. So you'll rotate through these ad people. Like they'll say this, they'll have you do this thing where like, okay, we're going to work together for 6 months and we're going to work on increasing the performance of your account. And I'm like, okay. Well, I go through like two people during that time because they, one that starts is really great. And then over time, like they flip out and they get promoted to another department. So if they're good, it's like the most entry level job at Facebook is an ads expert. I'm going to tell you this. So you take that with it. By leaving this training today, you might know more than they do. I'm just telling you. If you go through the recordings from the last Wednesdays, I will tell you, you know more than most of them. I could guarantee my clients when they're done with my program, they know more than almost all of those people because it's like an entry level job at Facebook. So, but my whole point, if you talk to them, I believe it does a lot with the merit on your account because they're really proving you're real and they're talking to you. So, just take that with a grain of salt. If you talk to them, just don't do their bad ideas. That's my reason for saying all this. So it's just how it is. But so I do encourage the Meta Verified. A lot of accounts, when we get compliance issues with Facebook, the Meta Verified accounts, as soon as we Meta Verify it, it like the restrictions come right off, especially if we've got like identity issues or things of that nature. I find that it's really, really good. Now, I'm going to talk to you about words you can say and words that you can't say and things like that. I mean, we're going to go into that here in a second, but I want to give you some of the basic background of how do I, work with people that, are we start out at the beginning, brand new people, like how do we begin working with people where, we set up the account correctly and everything like that. And that's why I share this because we're building, when I work with people, it's like I want to build a strong foundation so that we don't have problems in the future. Really, that's the thing. And I've seen it over and over and over how we know how to play the game and then we have no problem. Like we don't have any problems. And there is a lot of things that are avoided because when you do this the right way. Now there are looking to make sure I got another link I'm going to grab for you. The Facebook blueprint. And like I said, make sure you do this Facebook blueprint, which I did drop in the chat for you guys. Very, very, very true. So let me go over here. Okay, so, and if you currently have restrictions on your account, the first thing I would do is get Meta Verified. That would be the first thing I would do. But it depends on why you were restricted. You could be restricted because they're just waiting for you to send them an ID. you could be restricted because you violated their ads policy. And I see that a lot because that's where we're going to go next. Um, Facebook has categories, like if you go through the ads policy course, the Meta Blueprint, and I'm going to drop it in the chat again for people that did not get that, that we've had a lot of people come in new here in the last few minutes. Make sure you go through that. It's going to help you a lot understand, because when you are talking about your products, you have to be very careful. You cannot make claims about your products. You cannot mention making money. You cannot mention diseases. You cannot use the word you in your ads. You cannot do any references to crypto or retirement or any of that stuff. You have to talk about problems or in solutions in your ads, not about, selling things. And, some of the greatest mistakes that I see people make that get their accounts shut down, one is before and after images. Like, oh, here I am, 400 pounds, and now I'm 150. And they do a side-by-side photo with their extremely awesome weight loss product. And then boom, they're buried in the ground. Facebook will probably, sometimes they won't even unlock those accounts that do before and afters. Don't even put them on your pages. Like, there's ways to do them that are different. You can make videos and pan in, hey, this is me before, and then like scroll in the video, and then like, here's me 3 years later. I mean, like, you can do it, but those side by sides, that is like kiss of death into your ad account and even on your page. Because I firmly believe what you put on your Facebook page, they scan that when you're a new account. You should never have any replicated links to any websites on your page, your Facebook page, your business page. So no company links, no sign up here links, no company profile, like, oh, here's a presentation. You shouldn't be putting that on there anyways. You should be talking to people first before you give them any company presentations. So no replicated links, no side-by-side photos. In your business page, it's really important that you set up your business page correctly. So you fill out the about, you have a real website link on there, you have a phone number, preferably not your real cell phone. I would get like Project Broadcast or something of that nature, that you've got like, a phone number that's not your real phone number, because there's softwares out there called scrapers, and they will scrape all your personal information off of that profile, off that page. And then you will get calls, and you also get spam emails. That's how they get your email, to spam you. So don't, create a separate email address. Don't put your personal email on there, and don't put your personal phone number. I have my clients use Project Broadcast. I also have them create an email that matches a website that we build. It's because it's a security layer. So that, because you want that on there. Facebook wants to see you have a real website. So don't put like, whatever, like melaleuca.com/ I'm awesome. Like, do not do that. Like, no replicated sites. There's certain companies that we work with that are adamant to put their links that they bought from whatever person selling them marketing systems. And like, well, you could do that, but then we might have to unbury your account when it gets locked down, and then it's 6 weeks to rebuild a new account. Which I've had clients, we've never had a client that we couldn't get their account back or get an account going for them. But I had one client, I had to personally warm up her account because her IP address was banned. Facebook, if you try to do things and you're not doing things right, and the worst thing is you don't know what you're doing, so you're trying to do everything to fix your account, they will flag you down to the IP address level, where it doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter what browser you're using, doesn't matter anything, your IP address is flagged. So we've had that, and I've had to redo people's accounts for them like on my IP address. Very rarely will I do that because I don't want to jeopardize my IP address for some account that I'm trying to get running, but I'll do anything for my clients to get them running. And, there's a couple that were real doozies. Because if you go into it and you're trying to do the ads and you don't know compliance and you're saying things about retirement and make money and business opportunity and all that, Facebook's like, all right, slam. And there was some serious issues with bots about I would say two to 3 years ago, where Facebook was just shutting everything down just to shut it down. And they were all accidents, but they were really hard to get going again. I think we're kind of through that because Facebook does they do updates all the time, but they do massive updates. We had them in March. We'll have them again typically in August, September, preparing for e-commerce season in starting October, right? End of October is we're starting to get going with the Christmas stuff. So e-commerce season, they're doing major updates. We see usually September-ish, and then like March, April-ish, we see massive overhauls. But we all throughout the year, there's always updates. But sometimes with these update rollouts, we start to see like accounts go down like for just no reason. It's just a funny thing. Like they'll just go down, they'll get a restriction and it's like caught in a little bot issue and then we just fix it and it's fine. But we see that too. But the older the account, the more merit the account has, the more compliant the account, that stuff doesn't even get affected. It's almost always new accounts. Almost always new accounts. So these things are very, very important to do. Now, a few things that I've talked about, what sets off major red flags on the accounts. One is, like I said, before and afters. Don't ever do them. Second thing is replicated links. I already said that. Don't use them on your stuff. Get real website. Get a phone number that you won't jeopardize your real phone number. Get an email where you won't be getting spammed by the scrapers. Just keep it separate for like business or whatever. Now, the other things are to, post things on your page, where you are, you're consistently putting something on your Facebook page a couple times a week. Again, not like, make money now, ask me how kind of stuff, stuff about what you do. Say if you're in health and wellness, post stuff about health and wellness. Now, I will tell you, Facebook's cracking down because of the government. The government is cracking on Facebook about medical stuff and health related things. Some accounts are getting downgraded because of medical, like, how do you want to say, the medical industry. So do not mention anything that has to do with any diseases. Don't make any claims about things. Be careful with your health and wellness products that you're not making any claims just because you don't want to get caught and tangled in that. None of the accounts that I've worked with have fallen in that category, but some of my friends who are big media buyers for like Dr. Berg and stuff like that, I've got a friend of mine, she's over in England and she handles like medical individuals, people that are doing coaching for medical, like health and wellness stuff, like, uh, fibromyalgia and, fertility and, things like this. And those accounts they're finding they might have an issue and the account just gets downgraded into the priority of the ads. So just don't make claims. Just don't make claims. So you're better off, talking about how your account or not how your product, helps people in a positive way, supports health and wellness, and don't make any claims like I use this for my arthritis, or whatever. I use this to cure my anxiety, depression, and bipolar. No, don't do that. You're gonna get in trouble. And here's the other side of that. You're also really putting your distributorship with your company at risk if you're in a network marketing company. And if you're a health and wellness coach, you're also putting yourself out there and you could be caught for FDA compliance. I had another friend who was a medical doctor who had his own line of products that he sold, and he never ran ads, but he posted on his profile all the time about his products. And he was doing a lot of before and afters, and he was doing a lot of claims, and he had the FDA show up on his front door. So you don't want that. And when he passed away, the person that took over his business, she had to she left, she had a mess to fix. They had to rename and start up a new company. They had to rename all the products. It was a mess. So don't make claims. His ego would not listen, and he would not listen. He talked about diabetes and cancer, and he even was talking about COVID during that time. And, like, it was a mess. So don't go there. Okay. That's another thing when you're doing your items. Those are some of the really big ones. The other thing that really flags accounts is using or having different IP addresses. So when you travel, especially internationally, when you're traveling internationally, just be mindful. I always tell people, look, if you can avoid logging into the ads manager when you're gone overseas or on a cruise, just hold off, turn your ads off, if you can, or just let them run and check your stuff, but going into the ads manager with a different IP address that's overseas, because I travel a lot and I don't have a problem. Sometimes I'll actually use my phone as a hotspot, and I'll actually use my phone instead of using the Wi-Fi in the hotel or whatever, just because it is more secure. But Facebook identifies that. I got to go through security checks, or sometimes late at night here, the power goes out. I'll jump and use my phone as a hotspot, and I have to go through the security checks. So I'm like, okay, like it's going through, and I got to verify my ID, and I got to log in. It logs me out of everything, and I got to go through and do everything. But you might, do that. Just be careful on public platforms. That's the whole thing with that, like public, like you're at the mall and there's Wi-Fi or something like that, or you're in the airport and there's Wi-Fi. I personally would encourage you to do your phone as your hotspot. Just for that reason. People are not very nice in the world sometimes. You don't want to have any issues with that, and having a compliance issue because somebody jacked your, address. Another thing that is really critical to do is to have your account, your personal profile, absolutely on Instagram and Facebook needs to be two-factor authenticated. You can't run ads in the ads manager unless you've got two-factor authentication on anyways. You can't, like they won't let you do it. But if you're not using the ads manager at this time, make sure your profile you have to, because there's so many scammers and spammers out there trying to get into your dress. And I will tell you that having your account with the two-factor authentication and meta verified, I think that the scammers and spammers like stay away from these accounts. I also think that's another thing. I think the greatest risk on Facebook is getting hacked and scammers and spammers. That is really, to me, more of an issue than dealing with Facebook and their compliance. But having these little things in play, having two-factor. I'm using the Google Authenticator. I'm using an authentication app instead of doing the code. You can text and it's like, go check your phone for the code, right? And then you put the code in, like this to log in. I find that like 9 times out of 10, the code never comes. So I don't know if anybody here has had that too happen, but the code will often never come. I found that using the Authenticator app, the Google Authenticator, is the best way to go because the codes are in your Authenticator app instead of having to wait for the text to come through, and you're like waiting till tomorrow. It doesn't come through, and then you hit send again, and so they're like, it's just, I think, raising some flags. So if you can, move your authenticators into the two factors into your, if it gives you the option to use an authenticator app, Google Authenticator is, I think, very good. Because it's always there. You just open it and there's your codes. They're right there, and you can just put them right in and it's fine. So make sure your two-factor authentication app is on there. So do the Meta course for the ads, do your two-factor authentication. I would encourage you to do Meta Verified if you're running ads. Run your ads in the business manager, not through the personal profile. Because if you do ever have a big compliance issue, you don't want to lose your profile. Because there's an ads manager at the profile and there's an ads manager in the business manager. So you want to make sure you separate those out. And so let's talk about, you already have access if you're in the Skool community. I do have my ad writing guide here. So when you open the ad writing guide, this is in the classroom. I got a little talk here, but the ad writing guide is down here. I give you some of the rules right here. I talk about words that you should and should not use. Do not use the word you in your ads. Also does not like any gender references. They do not like opportunity, network marketing, MLM, work from home, none of that. Don't use these kinds of words, financial words, medical claims. Do not talk about body parts. Unless, I still, even like when I see a client's ad that comes through that we're writing and we're putting up, it'll say, oh, my heart was so happy. And I'm like, if you have a new ad account, I would just say, I felt so happy. I would take the word heart out of it. Just until the account is like really solid and it's got lots of gold stars, lots of ads approved, time has, gone through, and then you can add things in over time. There was a weird time where we couldn't use the word other. So I just tell people, like, just not use it. It's not as valid. Use gender neutral terms like people. So like when I have ads that we're writing, especially say for women, I will show that I will do some of the targeting in the image. So I will show women in the imaging, but I won't put, I tread lightly on those ads talking about women. Especially if your ad account is really new. Use the word people. People these days are, concerned about what's going on in the economy. So, like use the word people for a while, because it just helps. Because like I said, when you're new, you got to tread lightly. Or if you just had an account that you've gotten back, you want to like play the rules, play the game. Okay, play the game. Facebook loves you to tell your story. So, when you're talking about what your products, your services are, whatever you're doing, talk about yourself. This is how it worked for me, and this is what I did, and I discovered a business, and I did, you know what I mean? You take that road because Facebook loves it. They love it when they say, well, I had this and I did this and I had that, when you're telling, like, I used to be so tired and, I found this magical potion or whatever, that you're going to put in there. They love that. They want you to tell first person stories. They just do. Facebook also loves the video. So you're doing reels or you're doing shorts or whatever it is you're doing, you want to have the ability to talk to them. It's just really one of those things where they want to hear from you. They want to see you in a video. They want to like get to know you. They being your customers, your prospects, everybody. They want to get to know you before they buy very often, and they'll become very loyal buyers because of that. This is wrong. Actually, I got to update this. I've been teaching ads for so long. I've been teaching people ads since 2016. Actually, I got to change this. You can use 100% text now. It's a little bit outdated. I haven't visited this in a while, but this is 20% text. It's actually, you can even use 100% text now. They changed that. But again, be careful on what you put in the image. If you're going to put text on there, you can kind of say a little more with the text, but just do not do before and afters. That is like bury your account in the ground and put a gravestone on it because it will go completely non-compliant very fast. No before and afters. If you don't remember anything else today, it's no before and afters. So like the text is fine. And then one thing I found that when this is like the ad guide here in the that you can all have access to. It's in the classroom. We always test some different images. And when you're testing people, one thing I will tell you that's interesting is that don't use any images where you see, especially if you're in weight loss, where the person's waist is there and then there's like a measuring tape around it. Don't use that. Those will automatically get banned or, rejected. The other thing is I have found, this sounds crazy, but pick people wearing outfits, especially like women wearing neutral tan. Sometimes Facebook thinks they're naked. Like if you got a girl that's wearing like an outfit and her skin is tan, and then like the shirt is tan, sometimes they think she's naked. So like make sure that there's some color to the shirts or this whatever, okay? Because like it's just I've had that happen, and I'm like they think it's inappropriate, and I look at the image like the bots must think that because the bots are approving all these ads, so there's nobody manually approving your ads. So they're scanning and the AI is looking for certain things and they might think your pictures are naked. So there's that. Um, so you can go through the rest. I'm not going to go through here, but this is the example of, the ad writing guide and stuff like that. And the training itself, I talk about here. And then I also got some training here about why ads may not have worked for you in the past. So you can go in there and do that yourself and rock that out. But I just wanted to show you that this guide is down here at the bottom and that's got the no words and talks about that. So it's really a big, very, very thing. So yeah, if you are meta verified, you have access to support. So if you have a payment problem, you can contact support and you'll have a direct line because even this is it's crazy because even when you're paying them your money and you may or may not have access to customer support. I mean, that you can kind of maybe somehow try to find a backdoor link to support even about your payment issue. I find it like, look, getting meta verified, then you can contact support. It's easiest to manage support through your app on the Facebook app. You can do it on the desktop, but honestly, when you're on Facebook, the app itself, and you go to your menu, right? And you see memories, saved, groups, video, marketplace, yada la la la. And it's under settings and privacy. And then you've got to go to let me make sure here it is. Then you go to settings, and then you go to password and security. And then you go to, oops, darn it. And then it'll say all the way at the bottom, this was really hard to see. It'll say here, show your profile is verified. And that's where you find it. But it's kind of like it's down in there. uh Chuck, the one that I just showed you is in the ad writing guide. The policy course is the one that I just dropped above. That's the Facebook one directly. That's actually Facebook proper. So grab that link, the one that's above here. so that you can take their course. That's actually Meta, like right in Meta. So I highly recommend that. Now, if you do get hacked, you can do facebook.com/hacked. It's a pain. It's the best thing is to really try to avoid getting hacked at all costs. But if you do get hacked, it's facebook.com/hacked. If you do have access to the account still and you think you're compromised, I would as fast as possible get into Meta Verified and speak to an agent as quickly as possible. Jackie, if you need help with Facebook support, you've got to go through the app. It's under password and security. So you've got to go through that and you message them. There's a message that you do it. It's easiest through the app. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Well, I hope this was really helpful and beneficial. The recording for this will be up within the next day or so. That this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Oh, in case anybody has not done their onboarding call with us, or you want to talk to us about helping you with your ads or any of these issues, mind you that when you do this, the person on the phone, if it's because I don't have time to do calls anymore. I'm working with my clients like all the time, but they don't know how to help you with your ad account restriction issues. So if you think you're going to talk to one of my team members and be like, can you help me fix my account? They don't have that capability. But if you are in a situation where you think you are wanting that help, because I've had a couple people message me here already about it. That's how you talk to us if you've not done your onboarding call already. So, we can see if we can help you get this through this or get your ads up and running or performing. Getting them performing is always something that it's a whole nother topic. So this was really great, everybody. I'm glad that you are all here. This is super, super important stuff because if you get in trouble and you lose your account, it's really a big issue. Or if you're restricted, when your ads are restricted or you've got a notice saying that something was rejected, they always tell you what it was and then just fix it and then go through, like if it's like inappropriate, whatever, or, if one ad out of 6 gets rejected, it's usually a bot. When I work with clients, I know 99% of the time, if we wrote the ad, it's compliant. So it's almost always a bot issue. But if you get stuck in the doom loop, and they keep telling you it's rejected, 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 don't ever delete the ad out of the account as a rejected ad. I've had people do that where the ad will be rejected, and then they'll just delete it. That is like a big X on your ad account. So you can even strip out everything on the ad and just say, welcome to my page with a neutral picture of your dog and get that approved. And then you could turn it off or delete it, but you need every ad to get, like approved. You do not want to just delete them out of the account, or that's a dark black X on the account. It's just huge. Okay, everybody, we'll have a great.
Jen, I got a quick question. Can we delete ads that have been approved in the past, but we're done with them?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but just some people like get frustrated and they delete bad, like rejected ads, and that is so bad. Awesome.
Yes, I know I did that once. I won't do that again.
I know. I think maybe you got the scolding. Awesome. Good to see you, Ruth. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.